Hey everybody, welcome to the live chat. I see lots of people filtering in right now. And I'm doing some grilling right now on the front porch. It's a little bit cold for grilling, but this is New England, right? So we take what we can get. I'm trying to get some charcoal lit with a, we got the chimney thing here, the charcoal chimney. And it usually works really good, but I didn't have a newspaper. I only had some cardboard to get us going here. So we're trying to get this up and running. And I got a big logo in front of my face here. Let's clear that out of the way. Welcome to the live show. Thanks for joining us. Hope we don't get smoked out here. We're trying to do live shows on Saturday right now because we're busy doing a daily show on the channel. And let me see here. Try to get this guy in focus. And so we're busy throughout the week doing videos that we pre-record and we edit. But we're trying to do a weekend show on both days of the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, because right now our channel's growing really, really quickly. And hi, buddy. My son's waving from the window here. And YouTube, I have found in the past with YouTube that when things start working and things start growing, you just hammer it. And if you can hammer it and keep burning it, you know, working as hard as you can, that's how you grow quickly on YouTube. So right now, while we got some traction, we're trying to really hit it hard. And these weekend shows, we're doing much easier weekend shows, stuff I can do without taking too much time away. We're doing Saturday Q&As, and then Sunday, whoever misses the live show for question and answer, we're going to be doing a Q&A for questions that people ask back, you know, at the channel in different spots. Our fire's taking off nice here right now, so that's good. So if you have any questions for me for this live chat, make sure to tag @Homesteady in the chat box. I got the chat window open right here. Whew. And as long as we don't get smoked out and I can read the screen, I'll be able to take your questions. And if you tag @Homesteady, my name gets all big and orange and it's easy for me to find the questions. So let's say hello to people who are here. Wow, we got a lot. Camden, Let's Go, Ketogenic, Sathis, Elbert, Ellen, TC, Dawn, Britt, Christy, Jamie, Get to the Farm, CZ, Gons and Mike Carey says hello. Lina, Ken on the Run, Liberty for All, Charles McDonald, Carissa, Half Creek Farm, and Jenny, Muhammad, Mary, Karen, Sharon. That rhymed. Let's Go Ketogenic wants to know about the best non-flighty chicken. Let's Go Ketogenic. What do you mean by flighty? Do you mean like when you call a person flighty? Like, they're a little flighty. Or do you mean a chicken that doesn't fly? That's starting to take off. That's nice. So explain your question a little bit more and I'd be happy to answer that one. Ethan says, I am getting chickens. That's awesome, Ethan. Congratulations. Ellen wants to know when are our chicks going to arrive for the year? So that's a great question to start today off with. I'm just going to make sure we're in focus here because I'm having a little bit of a focus issue with the camera. Let's see. We'll turn on autofocus for a second and let it cue in on my face here. And then we'll turn off autofocus. And that way we know we're in focus. Good. Okay, so our chicks, we this year have ordered chicks for March 15th. We talked about in our videos that we put out last week about ordering chicks, how you want to make sure not to get them too early in the season because you can have issues with, you know, deaths and transition. We find early March is a little bit risky for us. It can be pretty cold. You can get a snowstorm. And the worst case scenario is you wind up having chicks coming in the mail and a snowstorm comes. And for some reason, these hatcheries, they ship them even if they see snow in the forecast. So we've had issues with that in the past. But we shouldn't have any issues this year because we've changed two things. First off, we're going earlier in the season, or later, sorry, in March for their arrival. Usually we got them at the beginning of March, but now we're waiting to about the 15th. So that'll help that out. And then the other way that we're going to save the problems is we've started buying chicks locally. So we buy our chicks now from a farm who sources them in Pennsylvania. And what they do is they just go and they get them in batches. So a lot of people locally buy through them. So they're like the middleman, which is cool. And they go and get the chicks, and then they bring you the chicks. So there's no worry about a snowstorm messing things up. If something goes wrong with the weather, they'll just call us and say, hey, sorry, the weather's not working out. We're going to bump it to next week. And we won't get this box full of dead chicks. Because believe it or not, we've had that happen. A box full of dead chicks. And the post office still calls you. And they say, hey, how you doing? We got your chicks here. Why don't you come pick them up? And trust me, they know they're dead. Because you can smell them from like outside the building. Dead chicks have a horrible smell, especially a box full of them. Talk about like a bad, here you go, bad present. So I showed up to the post office and the guy was like, yeah, here's your chicks. He rolled the card over and right away you could tell. And they didn't even want to take them. I was like, I'm not bringing a bunch of dead chicks in my van. You guys let them die. It wasn't me who left them in a, warehouse during a snowstorm. To be fair, it's not the post office fault. It's definitely the fault. The hatchery shouldn't send them in the snow, but they do. So anyway, so ours are coming on the 15th, and we're getting them locally. And where we are, the cat is coming. He's trying to get a bite of these babies. Got a couple of nice grass-fed T-bones that we're going to be throwing on here in a second. And one of our barn cats is trying to get a bite. So I hope that answers your question. Looks like we got some more follow-ups. Ethan wants to know about arrival dates. Let's go through in order here, though. All right, so Ellen's questions covered. Ketogenic wants to know about chickens that don't fly. So we have a lot of land here, Let's Go Ketogenic. I've never been too concerned about flying chickens, so I can't really tell you from experience what chickens don't fly. But a bigger bird's going to have a harder time. If you're doing for egg layers, get yourself a bigger bird. That's what I would guess. You can always clip their wings to help you with that issue. But honestly, I couldn't tell you from experience who would be less flighty. I'm sorry, I can't help you with that. Maybe somebody in the chat box can help you. Guys in the chat box, Let's Go Ketogenic know if you have chickens, maybe in a small space they can't escape from. If you've had some issues, what chickens work for you. So hopefully we can get you a good answer there, even though I can't give you one. Don Scott, can any breed ducks breed together? Okay, so Don, you're asking like, can a runner duck mate with a Peking duck? You can cross ducks. There's actually a hybrid duck that we will get for meat, which is called... It's a hybrid between honestly, I can't remember. But I know that you can hybridize ducks. However, you might run into, further down the line breeding issues. For example, Muscovies and all the other ducks are, technically, some people say they're actually a total different species. So I'm not sure which ducks you're talking about breeding. But you can hybridize ducks. Dennis wants to know, what state do I live in? I live in the beautiful and crazy expensive state of Connecticut. A lot of you followers and YouTube watchers have commented on our videos where we break down numbers and we talk about, business and what I charge for things. You'll say things like, I'm crazy for my pricing, or I'm ripping people off, or I'm getting ripped off. Connecticut is a crazy expensive state. And so I find it funny. Lots of people from, Midwest will say to me, what? You charge that much for a pig? You're insane. Or, whoa, I wish I could charge that much for a pig. It's all relative. Connecticut is a nice place to live. The weather's beautiful. The surroundings are beautiful. However, it is crazy expensive. I know you didn't ask, but when you talk about Connecticut, you got to talk about the cost of living. That's what we always do. If you don't know how to tag at Homesteady for your questions, putting them in all caps does help me see them. So I'm trying to get everybody's questions covered here. Carissa, top 3 tips for a homesteader that would like to take the dive into vlogging, asking for a friend. Carissa has this friend who wants to start vlogging. That's a really good question, Carissa. Okay, so first and foremost, think about if you're saying a friend that would like to take the dive into vlogging. So that's assuming that they already like the idea of vlogging. If you're just trying to, make a full-time living on YouTube and you figure vlogging, all right, that's the way we'll do it, That's not good motivation. If you're looking forward to vlogging and you like the idea already and you want to know what you should do in the beginning, you know, so things go well, if that's the question, I definitely have 3 tips, top 3 tips. This could be a good video, a good follow-up video. So first off, top 3 tips. This whole 3 thing is going to throw me off. First off, I would say focus on having fun, because if your goal right away is to make a bunch of money doing YouTube, or your goal right away is to get super famous or whatever, it's a long game doing vlogging and doing YouTube, and it's a lot of work. So if you make sure that you have fun doing it and you're not worried about numbers or money, you know, you didn't quit your day job to become a vlogger, that's going to help you right out the gate. If you're having fun, your content will be more fun. And that's good for everybody. If your content's more fun, if people are enjoying your content more, you'll do better. So, ooh, starting to get some flames there. Almost burned my hand answering your question. So that's tip number 1, focus on the fun. Tip number 2 is, if you really want to grow your YouTube channel and you're small, there's two more tips for you that you can do. One that I see a lot of people doing right now is collaborations. So finding anybody who's got a channel, and when you're in the beginning, period, if someone's got a channel and they got 10 subscribers, they have 10 subscribers that you don't have. So try doing some collaborations. We do collaborations with a lot of different YouTubers. Sometimes we just don't have time to do them, or we're busy schedule, we can't fit it in. But I try to always do it, even if the channels are smaller than me. For example, we have 30,000 subscribers, but let's say a channel that's got 10,000 says, hey, you want to collaborate? The chances that those 10,000 viewers are the same 10,000 that make up our 30,000 are very, very slim. Generally, your viewership is very different, especially when you're small. So I try to collaborate as much as possible. It's fun to get involved in these collaborations and work with other YouTubers. And ultimately, you start growing your community, and that's always good when you're starting some big task like a vlog. That's a big undertaking. So definitely work on some collaborations. And finally, when it comes to your content, create content that other people care about. Right now, vlogging is huge, and so you see big channels like guys like Casey Neistat who can film themselves taking a walk in the park, and 1 million people will watch it because 1 million people care about what Casey Neistat's doing. But Carissa, 1 million people don't care what your friend is doing. So if you're just making videos, me and the kids go to Costco today, nobody cares. They don't want to know what you did at Costco. Once you have 50,000 subscribers, people care what you did at Costco. It's funny how that happens. But in the beginning, nobody cares that you went to Costco. So focus on quality information with your viewers' needs in mind. Don't share what you want to share, just all your kids, you know, hey, we took the kids to the dentist today. I always use the dentist as the example of what nobody wants to see. That or Costco. You can tell what I don't want to see. I don't want to see you go to Costco. I don't want to see your dentist appointments. Focus on value first. Our early day videos for vlogging were all about goat barns, goat designs, how to keep goats in fencing. You know, at the time we were doing a lot of goat stuff, and those videos got popular very quickly because people cared about those topics. Great question, Carissa. And I plan on talking a lot more about content creation in the future on this channel because it's something a lot of YouTubers or a lot of homesteaders are looking at as a way of making a living. Let's see if I can do this without like burning my microphone or something. Ready, guys? We did it! Okay. Woo! I'm working on a charcoal grill here. I got the charcoal Aussie. I like to do the... Oh yeah, look at those beautiful grass-fed T-bones. I believe I forgot to grab a pair of tongs. I'm not going to be able to flip those. Can somebody please remind me in like 3 minutes to flip those in the chat box? I'll watch my timer, but Lord knows I'll forget when I start answering a comment. I just got to ask for a pair of tongs. 1 second. You just send me a pair of tongs. when I do charcoal grilling, I like to make the one side of the grill really high with charcoal. A couple minutes on the one side, a couple minutes on the other side. Thank you. And then I move it to the cool side of the grill. And let them do a couple more minutes on the one side, couple more minutes on the other side, on the cool side. Seems to help cook things pretty thoroughly. Duck eggs versus chicken eggs. Mike wants to know. Okay, taste, etc. Duck eggs versus chicken eggs. Taste, a lot of people like the richness of the duck egg, and it does better for baking. I'm not a baker. I don't know why it's better for baking, but my wife is a baker, and she will confirm that. Some people are allergic to chicken eggs. I am allergic to duck eggs. I found through this show that a lot of people are allergic to duck eggs. They get these violent stomach aches when they eat duck eggs. And the weird part is it doesn't happen the first time you eat a duck egg. So you don't realize like, oh, I'm allergic to ducks. You're eating duck eggs and at the same time you start to get these weird stomach pains, and it takes you a month or two to figure out what's going on. And some people have gotten really worried and gone to the hospital and stuff. So, do both. Make sure you're not allergic to either. And at the end of the day, if you can do both, I'd probably prefer having ducks over chickens depending on my goals. But duck eggs are bigger, ducks lay more eggs, they're hardier, and they're just a better they're better for baking, but they're not bad for like eating other ways. So Mike, hope that helps. My kids want to know what I'm doing. Doing a show. Sky wants to know, what was your first focus on importance of building and first focus on creating income from the farm? Great question, Sky. So when we moved in here, we bought a new chicken coop. It was actually a gift from my in-laws. Not sure if anybody reminded me about these steaks. I haven't gotten that far in the chat box, but I'm going to try flipping here. Not looking hot enough. Charcoal's a tough one, man. You'll notice this video is not called like how to charcoal grill. I do not have cooking skills. I'm okay at grilling. We'll see. We'll see how this turns out. Another couple minutes on that side. When we first moved here, we got the coops in. Then there was a barn in the back that was falling down, and we needed to rebuild it. So this was cool. And back then, we didn't have a YouTube channel. I wish we did. Would have been a great project to share. We took a house that burned down. My father has a construction company, and he was working at this site with a burned down house. Half the house's siding was still good, so we removed it, brought it here, fixed up the barn that was here with half of wood reclaimed from a fire and the other half from trees we cut down on the other side of the property. We cut down big hemlock trees, whoops, and there's a mill at the end of our road, and we had the lumber milled, and now the cow barn that you see there, we totally rebuilt with just burned down home lumber and hemlock tree lumber from our own farm. Super cool project. I got like a couple photos. Back then we were doing the podcast. We might not have even been doing the podcast. But it's important to have a nice barn. Homesteading a barn really helps. So that was the focus, building. And as far as income goes, we started with meat. Because meat, in my opinion, is the easiest way to generate income quickly and food quickly for your own family. Meat is a great, if you can do it. We did chickens, meat chickens, and then we did pigs, and that was a great way to get some income. And I had a full-time job at the time, so you can do it too, guys. You can do meat on a hobby level. Ooh, yeah. Ooh. Smell that? That smells good. Liberty for All wanted to know what's dancing on the coals. I guess you already know. We got some nice grass-fed T-bones. And they might not be grass-finished. They might be grain-finished. Looking at the marbleization in those bad boys, I think these are finished on grain. My in-laws every year will buy a beef from a farmer, and we are fortunate to get some of that beef. We don't buy beef. We do venison. And venison's great, but it's never marbled like that. That's going to be a tasty steak. Ethan wants to know, is March 28 a good arrival date for his chickens that he ordered? Ethan, it depends on where you live. If you're in a really cold place, March 28th might be too soon. If you lived like in Connecticut, our weather, I wouldn't be too worried about March 28th, as long as you don't get snow. I should have warned John that we were grilling. Toasted rabbit. Oh. Oh no, let's see, where'd it go? This thing always skips. Okay, here we go. Why do you choose to purchase your chicks versus hatch them ourselves? Good question. Toasted Rabbit. That's a great name, by the way, Toasted Rabbit. And I got to move these steaks in a second here. I'm going to try to pull up the chat on my iPad. Maybe it'll work better. So we have in the past hatched our own. And if you're doing it for eggs, there we go. Oh no, it died. Oh well, can't win. If you're doing it for eggs and you have, you know, purebred lines, so you know that they'll breed true, you know what you can expect, that is not a bad way to go by any means. But if you are looking to do like meat chickens, like we do, that's actually what we've ordered this year, is just meat chickens. It's hard to get the really good meat birds. They don't really breed true. So like Cornish crosses or the Rangers, you can't really breed those. You can breed, you know, if you do like big, large scale Plymouths or Buff Orpingtons or New Hampshires, those are larger chickens. And we've done that in the past. But nowadays, we usually just buy egg layers and we buy the meat birds. Hatching, if you're going to hatch, we have a lot of different chickens on the farm, and so the roosters breed with the hens, and it's all over the place, and you never know what you're going to get. So that never turns out too well. We've had some funky stuff when they crossbreed. We've had weird toes and things. So we usually just order every year. It's just something we decided to do. If you were focused more on your chickens than we are, if you're really keeping a close eye on the specific breeds and who's with who, you could probably do, you know, and you don't worry about the egg breeds, you could do your own. These steaks they're getting there. Do you know the doneness test? I learned this from my friend Trish at Honey Pies Recipes. She's got a YouTube channel. You can search Honey Pies Recipes. So they say that that's rare, that's medium, and then like well done's like somewhere else on your hand. So rare, medium, and then well done. Like I said, I'm not great in the kitchen. These are feeling like rare on the one and medium on the other, which works for us. I'm going to move them over now. So I got the hot coals to the one side. I'm going to shift them over here now. That way they don't get burned. And just let them absorb some of that side heat. And then we'll let them rest. You got to let your meat rest before you go cutting it open and leaking out all those juices. Got a couple more minutes of chatting here, guys. Let's see whose questions we're going to get to before we finish up for today. Muhammad wants to know how to make a food forest. So, Muhammad, that's a big question to cover in a few minutes. But essentially, a forest is not all the same tree or all the same plant. So if you want to make a food forest, you got to have a lot of variety. Now, fruit trees do need to, generally speaking, they need two of the same kind to pollinate. So you need a couple peaches, maybe 3 of them. You need a couple apples, maybe 3. But don't put them all in rows and all the same thing, because pests love that. So get yourself a big area like we did. And you can search our channel for our videos of the orchard we put in last year. You can find in the orchard we have all kinds of different plants, from strawberries down at the floor level to mid-sized blueberry bushes, raspberries, all the way up to bigger apple trees. You create that diversity just like a forest. Mimic what nature's done. You don't put rows, but you put things in, you know, different areas. You confuse the pests. That's what a forest is. It's not rows. It's not everything the same. When you do rows and everything the same, you're asking for trouble. You're fighting the trend in the world around us. And whenever you're trying to do agriculture, agriculture's hard enough. You're already fighting nature when you try to do agriculture. You might as well mimic nature as much as you can, and that way you're going to get the best, you know, from your efforts. Brett wanted to know if our Muscovy ducks are breeding pairs, or are they just the hens you have. So we do have a breeding pair, Don and Betty Draker. They are, we've bred them in the past. We've got ducklings from them, and we would still have those if I wasn't allergic to duck eggs. But since I'm allergic to duck eggs, we have stopped focusing on ducks, and now we just have 2 Muscovies because they're nice to look at. They're really good foragers. They're cute. We like Don and Betty. But they are grain drains. And so I couldn't keep the rest of them around if I couldn't eat their eggs. Sorry, Muscovies. Carla wants to know... Oh, I'm sorry. Caden came first. Caden, what is our favorite goat breed? Okay, Caden, if you've been watching our channel anytime, you know I'm the goat hater. But I'm not a real hater. We owned like 20 goats, so I couldn't have hated them that much. And someday I'll probably have goats again. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But we have tried almost every goat breed out there. And my favorite breed would have to be... I think my favorite homestead breed is the Nubian. If you find the right line, you can find a really good dairy. We have family members who have Nubians that will give a gallon or more of milk a day. And the males are really big, large goats, so they give a lot of meat. So for a homesteader, great milk, great meat, and Nubians are very heavy on the hoof, so they're not going to be jumping over your fences like those dang La Manchas always are. They're not going to be pushing through as hard. Overall, I think Nubians are a great goat. We have a podcast coming out on Monday which talks about the Kiko goat. If you've never heard of the Kiko goat, go check out Dan Arms' channel on and tell him say hi from Homesteady. Tell him Homesteady sent you. Arms Family Homestead, they have a Kiko goat, bunch of Kiko goats. We interviewed him, and we wound up interviewing the guy who actually created the Kiko goat. He bred, like, back in the 70s, 80s, he worked on creating this breed. And so we learned the whole story behind the Kiko goat. Really cool. If you don't listen to our podcast, head over to iTunes if you have an iPhone. Or if you don't, you can get Stitcher Radio, that's an app, or Google Play. There's links in most of our videos, our newer videos, how to download the podcast. Anyway, I can add that to this too. Let me add those links right now if you're interested in that podcast. Guys, when you're driving to work, you know, podcasts are nice. YouTube's fun when you're at home and you got nothing going on. But when you're driving to work, man, get our podcast. It's like an hour-long show. We have I think we have like 60 episodes or 70 episodes now. We're getting a lot. And it's just a ton of information in the podcast. So check out that Kiko Goat episode because maybe it's a very good option for a homesteader, the Kiko Goat. All right, I need a plate for my steaks here. I forgot I forgot a plate. You guys can see where my brain's at. Bro, can you bring me a plate, buddy? Okay, I got time for one more question while these steaks rest. And then we're going to have to sign off. Thank you. So, one last question. Those steaks... Okay, I didn't get a great char on them, but it's not bad. The fat's got a nice yellow color to it. And if I feel them with that doneness test, I can tell there's definitely some rarer spots to it for sure. But I like a good rare steak. But then, you know, for the kids and the younger ones, we do the more well done too. So we're going to keep that. We're going to let that rest. We're going to answer one more question. Let me go place this inside for 1 second, and then we'll get to our last question of the chat. One more question, and we'll shut down. Can you bring that to the table, son? Okay, the last question. We're going to pick one at random here. Let's see here. Oh, good. I think I got a lot of them. Okay, I got to go with Dan. Because Dan, not only did he tag at Homesteady, but he also did all caps. So I can't miss that one. Dan asks, what are some good beginner chickens? If you're going for eggs, I always say you can't go wrong with a Rhode Island Red. You can't go wrong with Leghorns for white. And you can't go, the Americanas, those are fun for the green eggs. If you get those 3, you'll have brown, white, and green eggs. You put those in your 6-pack or your 12-pack, and they look really pretty. They're fun to sell to friends and family that way. Get the conversation up about what you're doing, and they'll lay nicely. If you're looking for meat chickens, I always suggest you get a meat breed. The Rangers are nice, but they do take longer. The Cornish, you can't go wrong with. I am not a hater on the Cornish cross. I am a proud user of the Cornish. If they're going in my belly, that's the bird I want to raise. The Rangers do really good too. There's good flavor, good size, but at the end of the day, beginners, man, go with the Cornish. And yeah, that's great. Guys, thank you so much. We had, at one point, I think we had 80 people here on this chat, which might be the biggest chat that we've done. We're trying to do them on Saturdays now, and if you didn't know about this chat before YouTube lets you know, I actually send out to our email list every time we're going to do a live chat. I give them at least 10-15 minutes of warning, sometimes an hour, sometimes a whole day. So I have a link below I've added to the description here. In the link below, you can find our podcast, you can find our email list. Sign up to that email list, and every Friday I send everybody on the email list all our videos, and every live chat we do, I give everybody on the email list warning so you don't miss any of our live chats. YouTube does not share all our videos with all our subscribers. We now have 30,000 subscribers, but usually we'll have a video go out and like 2,000 people see it. So if you want to make sure you get to see, you get to choose. You might not want to watch them all, but at least get the choice to watch them. Join that email list, and every Friday I email everybody everything we've done, our podcasts, our videos, all that stuff. Thank you for supporting today's show by being here and asking all these great questions. And thank you for, being a part of this channel. We really appreciate it. And we're growing really fast right now, which has been great. So couldn't do that without you. Click on that link to join the email list. And we will see you guys tomorrow. We will be doing a Q&A video. So if I missed some of your questions here, leave those questions in a comment on one of our videos, because on Sunday I do another wham bam as fast as I can comment answering session so that we try to answer everybody's questions. So go ahead and leave a comment in another. You got to leave it in a different video though, because as soon as I hang up this live chat, these questions disappear. So leave a question on one of our other videos that you want answered, and tomorrow I'll be answering more questions, not live, but in our video for tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and now I'm going to go eat some yummy steak. Catch you later.